Howdy folks, a little bit of coffee and an insight cookie, or morning scruffy wisdom. You may or may not be following along my little snippets through Instagram, Facebook, or even here on the YouTube. Now, before you go and get all excited and like and share and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff, whoa, thank you very much, but hear me out first. This is a wheels are turning, the cogs are moving situation. This is a process. So you might be all enthusiastic and ready to jump on and follow along and see what this is all about. It's incremental. It's a bit here, it's a bit there, and eventually there will be a refinement. And in that, and on that, is a good way to segue into sort of the core of what it is I'd like to share. There will be people that you'll meet in your world, in your life, and as you travel along, that have lived a good life. And some people have not lived a good life. Some live a life to, let's say, its fullest potential, and some not. And I'll be upfront with you all, just so you get an idea of who it is that you're sharing your time and energy with. I have not taken advantage of this, of my being, of my capabilities and abilities. And it's not necessarily a set and forget. We have the ability, this is the one ability that we all have, right? Those who are capable. I say, if you can wipe yourself clean or wash yourself clean, then you're pretty much ahead of the rest. You have a core ability to enhance your capabilities. Meaning, I can learn, I can study, right? So let's just start with that. A couple of people you'll meet in your world. People who live their life, people who haven't. Let's take me as the one who really hasn't lived the life to potential. And then here I am giving you an idea, an insight, snippet of wisdom on how you can live your life in a better way. You would think, hang on, hypocrite here, contradicting, and I get that. However, a friendly suggestion based on personal experience, it's best not to necessarily be so quick to dismiss that. Because there's people who you will meet who continue to live their life as a victim and blaming external circumstances without going into the self internally and realizing, hang on, I have the capability, I have abilities and the capacities to alter who I am and the way I live my life. Yet it's been a bit of a poo. Now when you start to get to that level, that in its own, that gives you a credibility to actually share with other people that, hey, this is what I've realized because I've gone through the poo and I've not lived a life at the highest potential that it is available to me and where it sits in a synergistic and harmonized way with me. Remember that. Because it's a very broad term to say, oh, you got to live your life to your fullest potential. Because full is full. 10 litres is 10 litres. That makes sense. So your fullest potential may not be at the same capacity of another. But in that, you'll reach a level that is of a certain contentment, but it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. And other people are not going to fully understand that. See, as I'm going through this buzzword journey of being a boat owner, everyone has has a snippet, right? Some have been there, done that, so you sort of keep an ear open, okay, and you take it in. But once where I was quick to be deterred and take on their judgment or their non-supportive critique, okay, because a lot of people will give you an idea or an advice or a suggestion, but they are not invested in you living life better. So pay attention to that when someone has something to share with you, whether it's coming as a lecture or advice. Just be the willing recipient in that moment. And there's a cue or a clue as well that I noticed. If very quick to be defensive, oh, it's my life and rah, 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 that is a good sign to yourself that you are a very high contributor to why your reality isn't the way it is. Miss the ship, as they say. So I'm learning this as I'm going along, and I'm sharing it. I'm back into the process of sharing this with people and learning how to communicate it in such a way where I'm not telling you that you need to do this. Merely sharing an idea, a thought concept, you could say. And I do pair it with being insightful and wise, because as I think about it, it's that, darn, if only I had come to this realization even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, where I would be in my reality would be totally different. Although it is sort of a classic scenario of making the statement, oh, I wouldn't change a thing. And I used to balk at that a lot. Really, you wouldn't change a thing? Until I started to realize, well, yeah, because it brought me here. All of those indifferences and decisions that led me astray because I didn't understand have all been the building blocks to being in this position where I do understand better. So if something comes to me, I have the ability now to be in a better position to absorb it and filter it and not allow it to affect me as much as it once did. And I wouldn't be the owner of boats. And my mind would be oh, what am I going to do? And I'd be in a fight or flight situation. Instead of embracing it and sitting in this little boat and going, wow, this is so cool. I own a boat. I have the ability to sail across the waters here in Tasmania. And I have another little sailing boat, and I have another big old wooden boat now that needs a lot of work. But this, it's like, keep your hands busy. There's so much to do. And once again, that would bombard me. So as I'm going through this and realizing, yeah, there's going to be a few people you meet, people who have lived your life and people who haven't really lived their life, and all of them have something to say. So just listen. I could say, yeah, you all right, fair enough. Well, you lived your life and you're sort of being a bit of a negative Nancy. But things will come up, like what happened yesterday. Old fella was having, oh, you did this, did you do that, did you do this? Oh, well, I know, things are cheap and that you know why they're cheap, right? And if you're not in a position to be able to separate yourself from that type of talk, you'll give up on your ideas. You'll give up on the things that make you happy. And then you'll see people maybe on the street in the bucket and go, I'll tell you, if I was your age, I'd do this and this and this. Listen to that person as well. That person is sitting in a lot of regret and have given up. But they've learned in that how life could have been so much better. So avoid being so quick to dismiss these little snippets, especially if you're a person in your own self right now, holding your hand out and praising up to the gods or to the stars, going, I just need a break. Give me a break. You'll get it, okay? It's not clear cut like you think it is. You'll get a phone call. You'll get a letter. You will hear a song on the radio. You will see a little billboard. You will see a post on your Facebook, right, or a little video that comes up, and you're so quick to scroll past it, which I've been one to do as well. Until I started to just sit and go, okay, I'm getting these little nudges, whether keep going the way you're going or start putting your attention into that which you want to accomplish. Like feed, what did I say to a young fella there the other day? I said, I've done some driving, mate, I've done some traveling. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made, and I will tell you that if you ever wanted to just get an idea of what it is that you're meant to do with your life, and just to help scrape away all the noise and all the distractions, do that which feeds the joy. Invest in the experiences in your life that feed the joy in your heart. Invest your time and energy that puts you in a position where you can afford to do these things. And never feel that you have to be obligated to that which doesn't satisfy you. That took me a long time to separate myself from that. That is a big one. If there was anything out of this little video, I would say grab onto that snippet, that sound bite. That you truly never need to be, I would say, even 3 things. Mentally, well, maybe 4. Let's see how we go here. Mentally, physically, emotionally, yes, at 4, spiritually, obligated to that which doesn't satisfy you, that which doesn't feed the joy. And it's sort of blanketed what I just said with, oh, well, life's not always cracked up to be, it's not all roses, as the old Stallone would say. And yeah, he's right. And you got to get in and get a little bit nitty gritty. If that's something that you know and you're willing to accept leads you to feeding the joy. Like, okay, if I just keep at this for 6 months or 3 months, it's going to get me to this position. And then that's a fork in the road, or that's where I merge. If we consider this, you're reading a map. You have a destination, And this is the direction of travel. And that's what goals and all that are about. I'd rather not use that word, but just for layman's terms right now, so you can resonate or understand what it is I'm saying. That's how it works. You're going to have a direction, and you're going to have to look and create your own path to a degree. Look at the paths that can take you to where it is that you want to go, and then you invest that. It's not a click of the fingers. No, I don't think anything. The only thing that is a click of the fingers is the click of the fingers. Okay. Coming to a summary. People are living their life. Yeah. They got something to say. They got suggestions. Have a listen. People who haven't lived their life to the best, they're at the position in their world where they get it. They know that they've given up. Okay, they've reached a consciousness, awareness. And they're sort of okay and not okay with that. They've surpassed being a victim. And you be able to understand that in the way that they talk. People who are still caught in a victim mentality, and I know this because that's how I was living my life, but bitter in one regard, bitter, and it's always this, it's the government, it's this, it's that, a lot of complaining, very judgmental, lack of belief in self and the world, or sort of wanting a handout, not wanting to go through the trenches, so to say. Just a victim. Then there's the person who's surpassed that, and they're just, oh well, it is what it is. I know that I've given up, type of thing, and I'm just riding it out. So not necessarily a victim, but yeah, they lost their mojo. But if you were to sit quietly with them, you'd be able to learn a lot. Most definitely. Because that person has come to a massive realization on where they went wrong. And I guarantee that they've scrubbed through their past and through their history and gone, oh, if I'd done that then and this then there, you know what I mean? They've created a strategy, literally. Or you could say blueprint or formula. I've done very much the same, done something very similar. So be wary of being immediately critical of someone who has some ideas to give you, because you like looking at their chest, or like, where's your badges, where's your scout badge, or where's your bit of paper, where's your certificate? Because I've also had conversation with people who have gone that route and forked out lots of money and still haven't got anywhere. Because they thought that if they paid lots of money, that basically it was the classic case of, you do the push-ups, I get the results. And it doesn't work like that, does it? People want things made for them and then reap the glory. You got to go through the mud in a way. You've got to go through that uncomfortableness. Yeah, people are going to judge. People are going to do. But I was just looking on the phone right here, just before. That's what sort of sparked this video. There's a fella sailing around the world in an open dinghy from Australia. I believe it's 18-foot old, maybe Cuda boat of some sort. And immediately I thought to myself, can you imagine all the naysayers that fella's had to deal with? And yet on they trudge. Why? Because it's just something that is calling them, or that they feel drawn to, that resonates with them. It's feeding the joy. It's creating those experiences. And they're yours. Like, that's what's precious to you. That's part of the potential. That's part of what's synergistic to you. That's what is about nurturing your nature. Okay? It could be, for example, me doing these videos. I enjoy this. I get a kickback out of it. I've said it before, because it's part of an expression. It's an idea, and I get to release this potential energy out into whatever it is. And then there's an echo, there's a response going on. And I will get, somewhere along the lines, I will get a cosmic echo. I will get frequency feedback from this, because of the state that I'm in mentally and spiritually, emotionally. And there's a physicalness to it, because that's the vibration of my state is of a physical nature. So even the simple thing, this is why I sort of left myself scruffy, so I could explain to you something. That even the act of brushing your hair will alter your state of mind, which will alter you on an emotional sense, and a physical sense, and a spiritual sense. Give it a go. That's the other thing. You hear something, and for a snip, you're leaning in, you're like, oh yeah, I might give that a go. And then you'll lean back and go, oh yeah, no, I don't think that'll work. That's interesting, isn't it? So many people are leaning in, hungry for the answers to their questions, to be directed, to be elevated, but you all pull back. I got to a stage where I realized that, wow, I think I know what's going on here with me. I'm scared to be successful. Now, isn't that interesting? Being afraid of the attention of being successful. Now, that's a multifaceted word. I get it. Okay. Well, whatever it is that resonates with you with being successful, it might be just having your house in order, right? Having the bills paid, having a nice garden, being in a flourishing and loving relationship with yourself, first and foremost, with another, having a healthy social network, like whatever it is that corresponds to having success in your reality, in your life. The other thing I realized too, big part of it all was my unwillingness. Listen to this one, please. If I was to ever get heavy on you right now and say you need to, and be lecturing you right now, I would say write this down or take notes. I'm sharing with you me right now. I was unwilling to take on the responsibilities needed to improve my life. Listen to that, will you? I was unwilling to take on the responsibilities and put in the effort to improve my life. That's knocking the bowl of food away when you're dying of starvation. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It sounds insane. You'd think that is stupid. Why would you do that? Yeah, I did it. So many people do it. Maybe you're doing it right now. And you're blaming everyone else. Oh, society's this, humanity's this. Who gives a hoot? That is a dilution of your power, your energy, when it's all over there being judgmental and complaining about the world that really has nothing to do with you. That's something I learned a lot. I was just, this person, that person. It's got nothing to do with me. Even the way people drive. So here's a little classic one, and we'll keep rolling on with this because it's all relevant right now. It's all relevant. I would flash people who didn't have their lights on when I thought that it was appropriate, if that makes sense. So early in the morning or as we're coming into evening, which is a bylaw, by the way. But then I started to realize I can see that they don't have their lights on. Therefore, I can see them. So really, I'm just making it a personal issue. I'm the one creating this friction. Like I'm generating this friction and this annoyance. Oh, you don't have your lights on and you should like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but I can see them. Yeah, of course it would be more preferable and just from a safety perspective, right, to drive with your lights on. That's just that's a sign of a skilled driver or operator of a vehicle. But nonetheless, it needn't be an issue. You see? So if you're like wondering, so how's that relevant to all of this? It's relevant because you then realize I am the instigator. I am the instigator of all my woes, of all my troubles. You realize when you look at the map, I was just going the wrong way. And then you may realize maybe there is no wrong way or right way. There's just a way. And you know what it is. That's the thing. Whether someone's lived their life and with someone who hasn't, and you're asking this question, that question, how do I, and how do I, and how do, and what's the best? All along, I guarantee you, you've always known. You've just been dismissive of your own capacities and your own abilities. And as I said, you realize, damn, I've just been unwilling to take on the responsibilities and the efforts to have a better life. That's all that this has been all this time. Whoa! So here I am, ladies and gentlemen, buying these boats or investing in these boats. It is my way. I'm not making up for lost time. I'm just starting anew and taking on these responsibilities. And I think that this is the best way to go about it. You might say, some people might buy an old house, and same deal. Oh, why would you buy that old house? Why wouldn't you get this and get that? And then and you might look at them and go, well, why aren't you doing that? If there is a yeah, but, you'll know just to smile when that person has something to say. If the person says, you're right, here's why I didn't do it. That person will be honest. And then you might go, okay, I hear what you're saying. That's a good point. And you'll be able to implement something along the lines. Yet, do not allow it, or let's say avoid diluting this sense in you that you want to go through the experience. It's one of those things. I recommend that. That's what it is. It's leading yourself through these experiences. So, as I said, someone wants to do up an old house. Someone wants to do up an old car. I just want to fix up some old boats and have a little a floating home. And that's the way I want to live. I want to live like that. Who knows how long I'll do that? I just feel that there's a freedom in it. I've looked at investing in land. I've looked at getting a big truck and living out of a truck and traveling. And there's something always about the ocean. So here I am. And that would be where I would finish and say, there's something like that going on in you. Guarantee it. That would be the only reason why you've tuned into this video, or I know you or know of you, and I've gathered a sense that something like this in this video is potentially what you may be seeking. I could say the word needing. Or I just get a sense of this would help you understand the voice that already exists within you. And I'm not necessarily giving you advice, but helping your spirit have a louder voice over the voice that doesn't serve you right now. That's of a negative Nancy. Does that make sense? Be good, be great, be brilliant. Live life the best that you can. Invest in experiences that feed the joy. Until next time. See yous.